Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 471. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the one, the only, the man in the industry. It's Mr. Paul Despawn.
This guy. What
Despawn.
up, people? Hi.
Something new is in your life. We didn't talk about it last week. Matt was going to go into it all, and I was like, yo, Matt, relax. You're not even, Despawn weren't even here. Oh, yeah, you died last week. What happened?
Oh, yeah. I ate a snake. It really bad. It gave me a dicky tummy. I died. I'm fine now, though, so that's
nice.
good. Yeah, I recovered from
Nice.
it, It's, so it's
Let
no
me
big
bring in
deal.
Crash really quick. It's the one and only Too Fresh Crash. Hello, Crash. Or audio podcast Crash as well. You can't wave at the camera.
You said quick, and I was doing the quickest thing I can. Speaking takes more time.
Audio.
We're an audio
Takes a long
podcast.
mix.
We're an audio podcast. You can't just wave. That's not
That
how
was
this
part
works.
of the bit. That was part of the bit. The silence. Questioning, is
I hate
Crush
it.
dead? Is it just Matt? Is it just Fix and T-Spawn this week? What's going on?
Matt's not here.
I died.
Sure, yeah. Let's talk about you, Despawn. You, I said you're the man in the industry now. So talk to us. Matt touched on it a little bit last week, but I didn't want him to go into too much detail because your news to say. So talk to the people. Talk to us. What's going on in your life?
I have murdered Jeff Keighley, and I am taking over the Game Awards.
Okay, didn't see that coming.
The other job. Okay, yeah, sorry. No, Jeff Keighley's fine. He's not on my hit list. It's okay. Basically, I have taken on a role working with Matt's department or Matt's company, Future, where I will be the new social video editor. Well, the company that Matt works with.
Okay, thank you. You knew exactly where I was going with. I was like, if Matt now owns a company, he needs to hire me because what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, no. So yeah, I'm working for the same company that Matt works for, Future, and I am going to be, or I am now, the social video editor for PC Gamer and Games Radar.
Clap, 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 clap. Congratulations, dude. Look. I want to blow my own trumpet a little bit, which I have nothing to do with this at all, but I kind of want to pretend that I did have something to do with it. How much of this do we say My Xbox and Me helped make this happen? What percentage?
Ooh,
Just wondering.
how many times does Matt turn up? Like,
Well, at the start,
That's
a lot more.
good. That's real.
shall we say 12%?
12?
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 12.
Hey, I respect it. I'll take any percentage, honestly.
No, I mean,
so
without get around the nepotism things, but basically, I've been working with Matt directly, editing for him freelance for like the last year. I will say that probably wouldn't have got that role if it wasn't for both of us being on this podcast, and it was definitely that role led into this role. So
hey, Crash.
12%.
I did.
I just want to say
that was
I
me.
gave a hug to Matt in New York, so I played a hand in this somehow.
Definitely. You definitely played the
Well,
role.
yeah, somehow.
Okay, you're right.
Think about it, yeah?
So yeah, 8% for my Xbox and Me, the other 4% for Crash's hug.
Yeah, there you go.
Makes sense. Well, just think about it like this. If you didn't meet up with Matt in New York,
Yeah.
maybe Matt wouldn't have been on the podcast long enough because he wouldn't have felt wanted and have a connection to you, which then means he would have left before Despawn came on. And yeah, it could have been a whole different story.
I'm owed 100% of the credit, is what you're saying.
No, I think you got a solid 4%, and then I got the rest. So just accept your 4% and move on. All right, God damn it.
I think you'll find the podcast got the other 8%, not you, Fix.
I am the fucking podcast, all right? Let's not fucking play around here, all right? Let's not play around. If you didn't know, this is My Xbox and Me, our weekly Xbox podcast. You can get us everywhere, podcast services, all that good stuff. Go support on Patreon, patreon.com/MCFixer. Find us on all podcast services. Go follow us on Twitch. Me and Despawn owe you lot one more stream when it comes to doing a way out. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And a way out stream. I do want to finish that with you.
Same.
So when I get back from holiday, I will finish that with you. I am going away to Texas for 2 weeks. It isn't going to affect you guys at all. I'm still doing the podcast from Texas, so don't worry about it. Simple as. And if I don't do it, the boys will do it, and we'll be good. Don't worry about it. All right? Cool. Don't worry. There you go. Sorted. Topic. Oh no! Shout out to our Patreon producer, Aaron Guard. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for supporting the show financially, Aaron Guard. Topic of the show. It's a big one, boys. It's an interesting one because we've definitely had multiple conversations about this topic way before this has all come out, and we've spoken at length, ad nauseum, some would say, about how when Game Pass goes up, are we going to in price? Are we going to see them include this or that or blah blah blah? We even had conversations about what we'd be willing to pay for Game Pass. This was all before the Activision deal and things like that. But the big piece of news is Game Pass is getting a price increase. It has been separated now into 4 categories. They've lost Game Pass for console, as there was a Game Pass console that now no longer exists, and it looks like this. Let me just read this out, and then we'll go through the nitty gritty details, shall we? So the it's a doozy. So it looks like this: Game Pass Core, Game Pass Standard, Game Pass Ultimate, Game Pass PC Game Pass. So those are your categories, and this is how they break down. You've got Game Pass Core, which is going to cost you $9.99 or $74.99 a year. That gives you multiplayer. That gives you a limited catalog of 25 plus console games, member deals and discounts. That is it. That is all that you get for Game Pass Core. Next up, you have Game Pass Standard, which is online multiplayer, limited catalog of 20 plus games, multiplayer deals and discounts, Game Pass catalog, including hundreds of games, not day one added at future date. So that is not games that are added day one. Will be in the standard edition, which will run you $14.99 a month. This is all dollars again. Next up, we have Game Pass Ultimate, which is $19.99 a month. It gives you the things I've mentioned before. Day one is guaranteed in that. Perks and discounts on games in the Game Pass library, EA Play and Riot Games benefits, and Xbox Cloud gaming. And last but not least, PC Game Pass, which will cost you $11.99. It says underneath it free on PC. I don't know what that means, but whatever. You don't have to worry. Online is free. Thank you. Online's free. There is no limited 25 catalog. You get the deals, you get Game Pass, you get the editions, you get perks and discounts on Game Pass library, you get EA Play and Riot Games benefits, but you do not get access to Xbox Cloud gaming. Now, you might be the listener going, Fixer, you just said a lot of words and not a lot of it made sense. Welcome to being an Xbox fan. It has come to that point once again on this podcast where Fixer does a rant. What are we doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing here, Xbox? I understood that the price of Game Pass was going to go up. That was a no-brainer. Obviously, you're seeing the Activision games coming in. You're seeing Call of Duty being added. Something was going to change. I think we all knew that. We all understood that. But this is complete and utter mess. This is messier than when my mom and dad were fighting each other at the dinner table. Like, what is going on here? I can't be the only one that thinks this, but all we do is talk about Xbox's marketing's atrocious. Xbox marketing's atrocious. What is this, Crash? Talk to me, dude. Like, what's going on here?
I think this might be like one of the weirdest things because Game Pass's big selling point has been games day one, and now having the base console tier not have games day one is a little bit weird. On top of that, it's more expensive than the PC version, which comes with games day one. And the argument's going to be like, well, it includes Xbox Live. The fact that they still charge you for Xbox Live is kind of a joke at this point. So I don't really care for that point, to be fair, but that is a fair point still. You could point that out. I just think the messaging here is just so weird with Xbox's big like recently had the big push on, oh, we're still big in consoles, Xbox the best place to play it. And then here it's like, maybe it's not. And then you take the Fire Stick marketing where it's like, you don't need your Xbox console. That was like the big marketing push for that they've been doing. It's just, again, really weird mixed messaging from Microsoft, where I don't feel like the overall changes here are really that bad. The price increase makes sense. I do think console players kind of get shafted in this version and like what they're doing right here, but I don't think overall it's horrible. I think the messaging is just really what's really fucking confusing with this.
You don't need core. Core is not something that should exist, in my opinion. Standard, ultimate, and a separate PC version, absolutely fine with. I don't understand why Game Pass Core exists. I think what I would have done is I would have split the difference, so I would have made it $12.99, maybe $13.99 for standard, and that's it. I don't love the not day one editions, I'll be honest. I think it is going to start a very murky precedent moving forward with what Xbox does now. Because not day one, is that Xbox exclusives? Is that third-party games? What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's exclusives, which is a little bit weird, but
I agree. I imagine that.
The wording on like when games will appear on it is it's 6 to 12 months on a case-by-case basis again, which they've been using that phrasing a lot, which is just, again, it's confusing when you don't have a metric of like, when should I expect to be able to get this game on Game Pass and whatnot.
Despawn, I want to bring you in. Let's, what do you think? Talk to me.
So one of the big arguments we've always had about Xbox's marketing, it's always been very unclear when they've been talking about like, is this game going to be exclusive? Is this game going to come to a third party at some point in the future? This and that. This just opens the floodgates for every single game announcement to have that conversation now. Because it's going to, not only is it going to be, but is this game going to be exclusive? There's now going to be, is this game going to also be in day one on Game Pass? Is this game going to be day one? Which games are counted, which games aren't?
Well, I think the answer is always going to be yes, it's day one on Game Pass, because they're not going to market standard or core ever. You're only going to see the marketing for Game Pass Ultimate now and PC, obviously, which is included, right? They will still be able to say day one in Game Pass because technically it will still be day one in Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah,
it just won't say the Ultimate part.
I'm gonna say, yeah. I mean, I understand the reasoning for core because, like you say, for some reason they're still charging for multiplayer on console. You can't just charge somebody for multiplayer on console, so they kind of package these little optional extras in, like, you know, your 25 games and whatnot. So I get why that exists, but yeah, just the fact that they've spent this entire time since Game Pass launched saying every first-party exclusive will be in Game Pass day one at launch for everyone who's a Game Pass subscriber. And now they've just turned around and be like, yeah, but you have to be a certain level of Game Pass subscriber, and it'll change depending on which location you're playing on. But we want you to play wherever you want, but if you choose to play somewhere that we don't like, we're going to charge you a little bit extra. And it's just like, what are you doing? It's like, and again, they announced, yeah, you can now play it without an Xbox, but you need the Ultimate subscription to do that.
Yeah, so I think you hit a key point. I 100% understand why Core exists. It shouldn't be called Game. It should never have been called Game Pass Core. It should just be Xbox Live. We understood what Xbox Live was. Everyone knew what Xbox Live was. Like, they could have got rid of the gold, which they did years ago anyway. Yeah. But it still should have been called Xbox Live, and that is $10.99 with some additional perks. I think calling it Game Pass Core is where it's absolutely and utterly ridiculous, because you are going to have people out there that pay for Game Pass Core, see the advertisement for Fable, and go, can't. What's that?
For Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty is a perfect example, yeah. For Call of Duty, and go, perfect, cannot wait to play it with my Game Pass, because that is what we've been calling it. We don't call it Core, Standard, Ultimate, PC. We just call it Game Pass. And now it's just going to be an absolute headache. And Yeah, I think it's a marketing nightmare, if I'm being totally honest. And yeah, again, I'm very privileged and I play on PC now, so some of the console issues don't always affect me. But I think this is absolutely disgusting what they're doing to console players. It's a case of like, okay, you want cloud and you want cloud? Like cloud. Cloud should be included in every single subscription here. It should be included in core, it should be included in standard, and it should be included in Game Pass at PC. And the reason I say that is because the experience is still in beta, remember. It's not even a fully fledged, like out there working thing right now. In most regions, it's still broken. Yet, it's only included in Ultimate. Like, it doesn't make me want Ultimate anymore because cloud is in there.
Yeah,
am I the only one?
No, I agree. But do you think this means that they're like looking to roll out Ultimate in like a more official capacity? If they're no,
I think it's a case of I think it's a case of we've got to deal with Samsung and it's on their TVs. We've got to deal with Amazon now for the Fire Sticks. Why not? We can now, because there's going to be. Excuse me. Amazon Day's coming up right now across the world. Obviously, it's the 16th and the 17th of July, if I'm not mistaken. The Amazon Fire Stick is going to be heavily discounted, and people are going to have picked it up just to use it for Game Pass. There are going to be people that have done that and will do that, and they're now going to have paid that money for whatever it is, £20, £30 or dollars, however we want to cut it. And they're going to go, well, I bought this. I have to pay for the £20 for at least a month, and then they're going to forget about it. And that's what they're hoping for. That's what there is so much predatory nature out there when it comes to this whole Game Pass Ultimate thing right now that makes me feel a little disgusting, if I'm honest. I just don't like it. The conversation used to be Game Pass is the best best in the business. Game Pass is the best thing out there. Game Pass is amazing. Game Pass this, Game Pass that. And if we sat down and had a real conversation, breaking it all down, what Game Pass is and the value in which is inside it, I think we would still have that same outcome, if I'm totally honest. But I think the fact that they are cutting out a huge player base, the standard, not A1 added at a future date, is absolutely nuts to me.
Yeah.
For $15.99.
Yeah, I think what bothers me even more about that is the fact that if you look at PC, and the only reason PC is cheaper is because Xbox has next to no foothold in the PC marketplace. They need to be cheap. They can't be like if they charge $14.99, it's harder to bring people on board. They need that $11.99 there. But on console, where they're the only person, it's their console. They can set whatever prices they want. They set the precedent, whatever the case is. I remember Phil Spencer made a comment about slimy platform tactics not too long ago. This feels like a slimy platform tactic. It's not in the same regard where he was talking about exclusives and stuff like that, but this is sort of abusing your own player base to a degree. And I know somebody's going to say, well, if you have an existing subscription to console, you get to keep that until it's on auto renew.
Yeah.
If your card randomly declines and your credit card's provider is like, hey, this doesn't work, like whatever reason, or you need to change cards,
lose your cards, anything like that, which I do once a month.
Yeah, so it's just a case of like, it's really, really weird with how predatory this feels towards console players. And I don't think this will affect most people who have Game Pass. I do want to say that I think a large portion of people who actually have Game Pass do have Ultimate, if I'm not mistaken, from reports that have gone out. So I don't think it'll affect that many people, but the problem is that it'll affect the core people that they've been marketing towards recently is the issue, I think.
Sorry.
Please.
This very much feels like it is a way of forcing people to upgrade that may not want to, because in essence, it does feel like they're taking away something. They're not. They're just increasing the price of what something they already pay. But if somebody doesn't feel like they can afford, what is it, $20 a month?
Yep.
And they want to just stick on the $15.99 a month, it's like, okay, so I either pay what I pay now and lose access to all the games that I had access to and the first, day one launches, or I have to pay £5 extra a month just to get what I'm currently getting right now.
Yeah, or even if you have the console version right now, let's say you need to cancel for a month for whatever reason, you can't afford it or whatever, you come back and all you do is play on console, you don't play on other platforms, you look at the cheapest option you have available to you, it's $15.99. It's $4 or $2 or $5, however much it is more expensive than it was previously.
But it's $15.99 and you're not even getting the brand new, you're not even getting day one experiences. Like, I can't stress that enough that again, privileged position, I can afford the £20 a month, you know, like for Ultimate. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I can't. But I used to say this all the time. We're like, oh, yeah, imagine parents who can, this is now affordable at £10 a month. Like, yeah, I understood the price was going to go up with the more value that came into it. But for £15 a month, or $15 a month, I should say, to not get day one exclusives seems a little steep, if I'm being honest. Like, because I get what they're going to say. Like, oh, we'll pick and choose, you know? Oh, we can pay the $19.99 for 1 month, and then you can go back down to your $14.99 when you're not interested in what's coming. It's like, well, for I'm no disrespect, but for £20 a month, they need to hit once a quarter now. We've been talking about once a quarter for a while for Xbox exclusives. For £20 a month,
yeah, it's $60 the cost of a game.
They need to hit it once a quarter now for games, because what they've been delivering hasn't been amazing. Let's be honest. When you, from a first party front of Xbox, Hellblade: Senua's Saga 2, interesting game, like, don't get me wrong, that's one decent title. What else has come out this month? This year from Xbox first party? Oh wait,
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up while you guys.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at the price difference here, right? $239.88 a year for Game Pass Ultimate a year, and $179 something for $14.99 for the year. It's a lot of money now. We're getting into hundreds of dollars here now. So cool, gaming's expensive. We understand that the cost of games are going up. I just don't see the extra value yet. Like, because if you're not a Call of Duty fan, you've got to be sitting there going, well, what the fuck am I doing? Why do I care? I don't care about Call of Duty. I'm looking forward to Crash Bandicoot coming and you know, whatever else. But I don't know. It seems like a Call of Duty tact that they've made this change for, and it seems like the only person who wins out of this is the PC players.
Yeah. It definitely, as you said there, it definitely feels like it feels slightly predatory when you do this 3 months before Call of Duty drops in day one. They did all of this big hullabaloo at the showcase, like, it will be day one in Game Pass. Now the only day one in Game Pass you can play it on is Ultimate or PC. If you are a console player, you better cough up or just buy the game.
It seems like a silly thing to have done for the first COD, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have done this after. They should have launched Call of Duty in its basic in the system we had before, which isn't that different to this, if we're being totally honest. But the way they've broken it down now, it just looks a lot different. And then we could have had our first Game Pass push with COD. It does amazingly. Everyone's talking about how they played it in Game Pass, yada yada yada. Like, I was talking about how, like, I wanted to get into Call of Duty, right? Because of Game Pass, and like, what? Now I'm going to say to my audience, oh yeah, come play COD with me. Yeah, £20. Like, I'm not sure about that now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not sure. Again, the conversation will be, there'll be a lot of people who already have Game Pass, like you say, people who this won't affect in the short term, but I think long term we're going to be talking about this and being like, I don't know if this was a smart move. And yeah, I really dislike Core as a whole. Game Pass Core, to me, shouldn't be named Game Pass Core. It should just be Xbox Live, which is what it is, with some benefits. Yeah. You know?
I get why they've done it. It's a branding thing, and that's solely it. It's just like, call everything Game Pass. Game Pass this, Game Pass that, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. It gets the word Game Pass out there, and it's fine. And it's one of the rare moments where they're not muddying the waters by calling one random thing something else. But for me,
do you not think this is worse though?
It's not Game Pass.
That's what I think.
Because Game Pass is the library and catalog, having that like that limited 25 games, like that's not really what Game Pass is. That's like an Xbox Live benefit.
That's
You could
what I
call
feel
it an
like
Xbox
it
Live
is.
benefit. I don't view that as Game Pass. I don't even view that as an introduction to Game Pass, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't know.
Mm,
I feel
interesting.
like it is, but it's a really watered down version of it, and I think it's just, again, on a purely marketing level, it's so they're not marketing two separate names. That's all it is.
You know what? I agree with you. It is now. Now that the standard version doesn't come with day and date games, it is a watered down version of it.
Here's the main question for you boys. Does this affect your Game Pass subscription? Crash, where are you at now with Game Pass? Like, currently, what are you subscribed to? And where will you be in a month's time after all of this?
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm unsubscribed. I'm not subscribed to Game Pass right now because of the whole Tango situation. I had resubscribed one point for Golf with Friends when we had done that on console, I think. Yeah. And then I unsubscribed again, yeah.
Gotcha. And where does this leave you now? Like, PC only?
PC only. I don't see a reason for me to go to Ultimate because I don't really play on console at this point. And it being however much more expensive now. It's like $8 more expensive.
Gotcha. D-Spawn, where are you at?
While I've said all these nasty things about like this whole idea, I'm still an Ultimate subscriber, and I don't see that changing. Honestly, it's because of my setup, and I think because of how much we cover Xbox, I kind of it almost feels like a need to me personally.
Yeah.
But like, am I happy about it? No, not really.
Also, I think Ultimate's still like overall a good deal for a large portion of people.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to take anything away from it.
Oh no, 100%. Well, yeah. Like, Ultimate itself is a fantastic. It's still one of the best deals in gaming.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've just kind of. I think with this whole announcement, they've just kind of muddied the water so much that again, it stops being just a straight up win for Xbox anymore, and it's a win with an asterisk.
I just don't understand the standard. I really don't. Like, the reason that Ultimate was good, it was for people like me, it was for people like D-Spawn. We've got like Xbox downstairs, we've got an Xbox in our bedroom, we've got PCs. It was like that perfect balance between, yeah, you know what, I'll pay the extra £5 to have the luxury of bringing my games wherever I want. But Game Pass standard, I generally do think they've got this wrong. It feels like such a huge... That's the only thing they've got wrong. So for the price of $5, you remove day one games. And not even like they'll come in 3 months. They'll come in a month. They'll come... Because a month... We've spoken about this before, by the way. About how... Oh, do we ever think there'll be a day where games will come and then like a month later they'll come or some... We've spoken about this in some way, shape or form. Even a month after, I can go, I don't love it, but I understand it. But this just straight up.
Well, I think I would have preferred if they were like, hey, some of our big hitters, like our Call of Duties or whatever, won't be coming day and date. Instead of like everything Xbox puts out now, not being day and date on Game Pass. Or it might have been like a little bit weird if they were like, hey, Call of Duty's not coming day and date. And I think Xbox would have got a whole bunch of flack for it. But I feel like overall it would have been more pro-consumer to have done it that way than just pushing everything out of that tier completely the way they have.
Yeah. Yeah, I truly, anybody listens to this who owns an Xbox, and that is their sole only platform, things like that, I generally feel like you are getting screwed once again by Xbox. And, you know, my first one would have been this year, would have been games going to other platforms. You know, you've bought into the ecosystem, you've bought into playing games exclusively on that console, you've backed Xbox, you've been betrayed at that turn. Whether or not it's a big deal to you or not, that's how I see it, right? Now, you see the price of Game Pass go up. Not only that, but because you are now being penalized for buying their console and supporting Game Pass. You might have been supporting Game Pass since day one. And they go, well, actually, now you need Ultimate. But I don't have a PC. Yeah, but you've got a phone. And they see that as the extra benefit of, well, you've got a phone and you can play with cloud. And I bet 99% of you listening are going, I don't give a crap about cloud. I would much rather save the £5 and have my games come day one like they did. And I'm waiting for the next thing. It comes in threes, they say, right?
Yeah.
It comes in threes, they say. And yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see the benefit here from this. I understand. I want to be very clear. I understand the price increase. I do understand the price increase. Do I like it? No. Will I ever like price increases? No. I like saving money. I don't like spending money. But I understand it. I do not like the taking away day one games into a Game Pass subscription. I do not like it. I really don't.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly there. It's very much a case of like, I would be totally fine with that price increase. I still think 20 quid is a great deal, but to use that as an excuse to take away access to something, that's where it feels egregious to me.
I have a question for both of you. So if you're a third-party studio and you see Microsoft's like the standard version for their Game Pass, not including their own games day one on their service, does that make you question whether you should put your games on the service? Obviously, we don't know the inner workings and all that, and Microsoft pays, et cetera, but just like an Outlook sort of situation.
Yeah, from the conversations I've had with devs before, the pluses way outweigh the minuses when it comes to anything Game Pass. Like this sort of thing, I'm sure the first initial reaction to it is, that's not great. But when that check comes and it covers the entire development cost and then puts you back in the, some of these smaller devs who put their games on Game Pass and they do find an audience, it's worth that risk for a lot of them. So no, I don't think this will turn anybody's heads off. Well, yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't think so. Despawn, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think there'll be the little apprehensive, like, what are Microsoft doing right now? But in the long term, or like say short term, whatever, I think, that check is going to be like, you know what, this is keeping our company afloat. If it's a good business decision to still be in Game Pass for a lot of developers. So yeah, I don't think it's going to change a lot of those conversations, but there will definitely be some questions asked, I think. Yeah.
Just a quick one. In the UK, it's going from $12.99 to $14.99 a month, pounds, ultimate, and Game Pass PC is going from $7.99 to $9.99. Just to put that out there for people. I'm disappointed. Really, really, really disappointed in Xbox, and I guess we'll see how it plays out. But you can do this when you're putting out games that are getting 10 out of 10s and, winning BAFTAs and Game Awards and, telling emotional, interesting stories that are crafted, film and TV and merchandise and things like that. I just don't think Xbox are in a position to be doing this right now, if I'm being totally honest. I feel like the more and more and more and more they do things like this, the more and more and more they push away that core console audience who are just like, all right, I'll play on PC then, shall I? Like, I'm not buying next generation. I'm not buying an Xbox. Why should I?
Yeah. I'll be honest. Yeah. When it comes to the next gen, like, I might just go start PC only.
I'm at a point where I've talked about, like, I'm waiting for a Gears of War Series X. I don't know if they were to put out a Gears of War Series X at this point that I'd be interested in buying it now.
Yeah.
Why would you? When's the thing going to get turned on?
Yeah, exactly. It's an unfortunate situation, but I don't think, like, we're sitting here talking about it. I also don't think Microsoft or Xbox really care. Like, I think for them, that's like getting you to like subscribe on Game Pass and still play their games on PC. I think they're absolutely fine with that.
That just boggles my mind. You're right. I think you're right. But it just seems weird that three people were sat here, right, with the hardcore of the hardcore, talk about Xbox once a week. We buy and lap up anything that comes out. And they are really turning us away from the brand in a way of like, yeah, we'll still play State of Decay 3 and we'll still play all these games that come out. Yep, Starfield controllers and watches. We'll play these games, we'll play these games from Bethesda and, Activision and all that, but you're going to lose us buying in a console. And the margins must be terrible. And we've always known they've not been great on consoles, right? Or sometimes they make a loss where they're just like, hey, we just want your money in Game Pass. Don't worry about it. We don't care.
That's it.
Mad.
They'll just bulk make server racks that can run Xbox games, and you'll just play everything in the cloud in the future. Play it off your Fire TV or install it on your PC that we don't have to make, and we get money for the OS anyway.
Yeah.
The one last thing before we go away,
please.
This again, when it got announced and when it started going through, I was so excited about what would happen with the future of Xbox and Activision Blizzard King. This all feels very short-sighted movements to make that money back as fast as possible. It's very much like, all right, how can we nickel and dime all our core audience so we can get an extra £5 a month? How can we force people to pay extra to play the games that we've bought out and you can only really play with us? How do we get this money back as fast as possible? Instead of what it should be is like, how do we show this is the best place to play these games and it is right for us to have done this? This just feels like they are, and I said it before recording, it very much feels like they're shooting themselves in the foot to make a quick buck. And it feels like it is an edict from up high, like at Satya Nadella's level of like, you need to make this money back now, regardless of what effect that has on Xbox as a brand, because all of these brand decisions that they're making as Xbox feel like such a negative every time. And again, as we keep saying, it's like, as I said, it's Game Pass is the best deal of gaming with an asterisk now, because depending on which deal you get, it's no longer the best deal anymore. Because looking on PlayStation's side, they're bolstering their classics collection. Their PS Plus is great. They keep adding. They keep adding to it. Like, is it at the level as Game Pass right now? No, but it's the same argument we had. I think I don't know if we talked about it, but go on.
I don't think PlayStation's been making negative moves with their with their service.
Mm-hmm. No, but I just don't want to blow smoke. I don't want to blow smoke up PlayStation.
Yeah, they're not on par at all.
They're not par,
yeah.
But this very much. What I was going to say is this very much feels like it's the PlayStation 4 or 5 or PlayStation 3 or 4 mindset of where they're the market leaders. They think they're the best in the world, so they'll do whatever they want, and then it blows up in their face. This very much feels like it could be the precursor to this blowing up in Xbox's face.
Let me just ask this question. Those I wrote in and put, what are your opinions and thoughts on the price increase and a new tiering of Game Pass? And as a follow-up, and I do appreciate that value is subjective, do you believe that Game Pass is still of value? Let's just end it on this, shall we? Is Game Pass still of value to you, Despawn?
Yes. The way I use it, I use cloud gaming because I've got the Xbox One X downstairs, which can only play current gen through cloud. And the way that I can obviously move things between cloud, console, PC, depending on how I'm playing. Again, being a streamer, being able to run things off my console natively, so it's less overhead on my PC. Having that freedom to move around, the price is still worth it to me. And getting day one at that level is also a given for me that I'm going to get that.
Crash.
I think any of them other than Core are still of value. I think Core doesn't make sense, which we've talked about. I think Standard, even though it doesn't have day and date, like the backlog and the category you have on that for $15 isn't bad. And you could argue there's value and worth there in what you pay. I think Ultimate has worth, and I think PC has worth.
PC is the best deal in gaming right now.
Yep, agreed.
Like if we're being honest, I do still think there is good value there on the Ultimate side. I do. I do think we're getting into scary territory. Again, I remember us having a conversation and saying 25 is my limit. And that was a few years ago. And I can see Ultimate getting to 25, and that's where I will be at. And that is it. I am not paying more than £25 or dollars a month for Xbox Game Pass. Simple as. But as of right now, yes, I do still believe that there is value in Game Pass. And again, like everything, if you can afford it, be picky and choosy. Don't just keep giving these companies the money every month if you're not using it. Buy it when Hellblade drops, then cancel. Buy it when Call of Duty drops, then cancel. Buy it when, what Forza drops, then cancel. Don't just convenience, which that's what they prey on. That is exactly what they prey on, the convenience of it. I understand. Me, I'm someone who I just got a $7.99 payment come through with Xbox for Game Pass, and I was like, why has that come out? And I'm like, oh yeah, because I didn't pay for the year because I'm an idiot. And then I'm going to go pay for the year and get it done, Like, really think about it. Don't just let them prey on you and think, oh yeah, we can just keep taking you for a sucker, because you're not a sucker. And you have to show these companies that you mean business, So
Not
please.
You over there, you're a sucker. The rest of you are fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, interesting conversation to be had nonetheless, boys. Let's get into this week's dashboard. First piece of news: new Hellblade 2 sales data offers a clear picture of how it did on Xbox, Game Pass, and charts. This comes from industry insider Matt Piscatella, and he tweeted, getting a lot of questions on this one. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 ranked 37th overall for May 2024 in the US. Full game dollar sales, physical plus digital, for sharing the pubs, while ranking 21st on Xbox Series. So yeah, there wasn't much else to go off of this, and I don't really understand ultimately where that then means it sat, whether it was good, bad, or in between. What do you boys think? 37th overall for May 2024. Is that better or worse than you would expect Hellblade to have done?
I think it's on par for Hellblade for me. I don't know if it's on par for what I would have wanted or what Xbox may have needed necessarily, right? I think for Hellblade, like, it is still, like, the first game is a niche game. We said that before, we talked about it before the game came out. I don't think anything changed. I think this is a game that'll continue to get people to play it sporadically over time, where they discover it. It's a short experience. They'll play through it and be like, wow, I can't believe I didn't play this when it came out, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I don't think that placement really is super negative to me.
Yeah, I think for me, it's very much a case of, not a bad number on its own, but when you mix in how many people played it on Game Pass, because this is just sales numbers. So yeah, you mix in the amount of people that maybe, again, we talk about it, like, we'll buy a month of Game Pass just to play the new game. Like, we don't see those figures. Xbox don't share them. But yeah, I can see a lot of people just doing that instead, because again, it is 100% cheaper than buying a game.
It ranked 12th after it launched on Xbox for like engagement data, if I'm not mistaken, on monthly active users or something like that.
Yeah, okay. That's correct. Yeah, and currently sitting at 80 on Metacritic, by the way.
Nice.
So,
good for
is
them.
it nice enough to have a from? I'm not. When I say any of this, I am not talking about this from a developer point of view or the quality of their game. I'm talking about this from an Xbox point of view of like, is that enough to raise the price for Game Pass and make these changes? I just don't know, you know?
It's a pretty game though.
It's a very pretty game.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
It's a good experience.
It's a great experience.
Overall, it's a great experience, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. It's, I don't know how to, again, interesting data, but really know how to, because Xbox don't share the numbers that we really need, which is how many people played it on Game Pass. That is the number one most important number that we need, which is has had this many million players. And yeah, I don't want to go out on a limb and say like the reason they don't share it is because it's bad, because I don't know that for a fact.
They don't share it in general, so I don't think you
No.
can.
I think
It's not like they only share it when it's good either. You know, they just don't
Yeah.
share it.
I think it is very much a case of they don't want to share those numbers at all. Because why they don't need to. They know how much money they're making every month. But again, it is going to be a case of like, well, I mean, if we only share it when it's good, then that's another time where if we don't talk about it, you automatically think it's bad. So let's just not talk about it at all.
Fair enough. Moving on. Some of you may or may not know, but Star Wars Outlaws. There's some previews coming out real soon about that. And Julian Greg Wrightley has been speaking to IGN in a big interview talking about Star Wars Outlaw planets. And the quote that's been picked up here is that planets can be crossed in 4 or 5 minutes on speeder. This has obviously been picked up by a lot of outlets, a lot of people clowning on it. I'll throw to you first, Kresh. Did you see the quote? Did you see what got said, or do you want me to read it?
I did not see what got said.
Okay, so let me read this real quickly. Creative director Julian G. Wrightley reiterated that planet Tatooine, I'm going to butcher all these, a Toshama moon,
Sure.
Ava. Go on. You can correct me whenever you're wrong.
No, you carry on.
Jimmy. Anyway,
so much of my element right now.
Yeah, no. We'll be around the size of 2 or 3 zones in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and confirmed, quote, Toshara is very close to the size of Ava.
Would you like me to go through them?
Please.
So you've got Tatooine.
Thank you.
A Toshara moon.
Yeah.
A Kiva,
damn it.
Kijimi, and
okay.
Cantonica.
I didn't even try that one. I just skipped it. Anyway, Akivi and Tantui, I think. Tantui may be a little bit larger. That was end quotes. And then he goes on to say 4 or 5 minutes non-stop, which doesn't sound like a lot, but once you're committed, it's a fairly large amount. And you are always going to be distracted. It's unclear if the remaining 2 planets, Kijimi and
Cantonica.
Thank you. Are larger or smaller than these 3. So we don't want things to be, and then it goes on to say, so we don't want things to be big just for the sake of it. We need to contain, always fun, always purpose in different activities. So traversing the whole thing had to feel like a journey, a commitment when you get on your speeder, and you want it to go from one end to the next. Everything being said, I have no problem with personally. I don't like the quote that's been picked up by outlets and by people clowning on the game, because we've seen this before in the internet culture. You know, we saw it with Starfield, if anyone remembers rightly. They did the whole walking from one side of the planet to the other, and I just don't think this helps anybody.
The problems people have with this sounds kind of confusing to me, because people gave Starfield problems for having a lot to do, like a lot of area you can cover depending on where you landed. Like you had plenty of spots you can land, but a lot of it felt samey and empty. Whereas this feels like they're going for a more contained experience with more to do in it, and that sounds better to me. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing something.
Also, like when you talk about like it's going to be the size of an area of the like, it's not the entire map of Odyssey, but like an entire area of Odyssey, and it takes 5 minutes to traverse that. That still feels relatively big to me.
5 minutes is a long time.
Yeah,
5 minutes with a speeder, not
on
stopping.
A speeder. Yeah, you're not. It's not like you're running. You're like full blast on. Like for any Star Wars fan who knows, those speeders go fast. So you're going to cover a lot of distance in 5 minutes. And the fact that they're talking about, while it also it's 5 minutes long, but there's going to be so much condensed in there. Like every element's not just going to be like an empty wasteland. It is going to feel like, a fully lived in planet. Like I see no problems with this whatsoever.
Yeah, like I say, it was just one that got picked up. I saw a few people sound like, oh, the more I hear about this game, the more I dislike it. And I'm like, for this quote? This just sounds to me like is somebody who's passionate about their game just been like, hey, there's going to be a bunch to do. We're going for quality over quantity. Please go on.
it kind of makes me more interested in it, to be honest with you. The fact that it is going to be a condensed experience, because some of my problems with like older Ubisoft games is that they have a lot of area to cover, but sometimes those areas aren't as unique or interesting. Whereas if it's like, we're going to give you a few planets, those planets are going to be a little bit more condensed. That sounds good to me. That sounds fun to me, but I don't know.
I think we're old.
It may, maybe.
Old
We're
gamers
not
are old.
demographic anymore.
I mean, I generally do. I feel like sometimes I see what the internet's like outraged about nowadays, and I just go, "This is what we're upset about." Okay, not what I would have chose to have been upset about today, but sure, you do you, kids. But yeah,
It's
still looking
only
forward to Star
5
Wars.
minutes.
I'm still looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws. And again, as someone who's not like a big Star Wars fan, as you can tell from the way I pronounce these planets. Hey, ask me something Resident Evil. I announced it perfectly, all right?
Okay.
You
What's
know?
Wesker's middle name?
Oh, crap. James?
Yes.
I don't know. I thought you might know. He's now
I need
looking
to
it up. For the audio listeners, Fix is
He
now
has no middle
typing.
name.
He has no
No,
middle name.
no middle name?
Albert Wesker is his full name.
Okay.
What I've seen.
All right.
Albert Boulder Thrower Wesker.
No, it's Albert J. Wesker.
Oh, J.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is a J.
What's the J stand for?
That's
Jake.
why I think I must. No, it's not. It's definitely not Jake. Please
Albert
don't tell
J.
me it's Jake.
Wesker.
Is it really?
Comment says. That's what Reddit comment says.
Oh, Reddit. Yeah, that's got to be true.
Yeah.
I'll have to research this. All right, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Why
Get your
did
team
I
on it.
think it was James? Something tells me it was James. Anyway, let's move on. Next one. This is definitely got to be for Crash because I don't even know where it is. Dragon Ball Fighter Z dev announces Double Dragon Revive with teaser trailer. Oh no, I did see this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you not played? You've played Double Dragon.
I
You had
most
to have at
certainly
some
have
point.
played Double
Yeah.
Dragon. Yeah, I did see this. I'm a liar. I did see this. So for those who don't know, Double Dragon is getting revived in a new 3D game in the veteran beat 'em up series published by Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Guilty Gear Strive developer Arc System Works. Crash, we're looking forward to this one. It's going to be published by Ukes, who did the AEW Fight Forever game as well.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited for this, knowing that Arc System Works is working on this. Seeing them work on something that has fighting game elements but isn't a fighting game, I think is going to be very interesting. We gonna play this together, Fix?
Wow, Crash.
Busy boy.
Next time Fix ever mentions on this podcast, I never play games with him. Just somebody quote this out and just send the clip to him whenever he says that, please.
Crash, I'll play any games with you anytime, but you just don't play games with me anymore.
After we finish this podcast, we can play First Descendant.
Okay.
No, he's not gonna play first. After this podcast, he's gonna be like, Haley just got in. She just hit me up. She's like, yo, come hang out, watch some TV.
Haley's just in it up. She wants to play First Descendant with me.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah. Next up, Power World Dev signs deal with Sony to form Power World Entertainment and expand the IP. Did you boys see this one at all?
I did see
Yes.
a bit about it, but I didn't read too much into it.
So the developer of Power World has signed a deal with Sony to form a new business called Power World Entertainment to capitalize on the breakout success of the video game by expanding the IP. Japan-based Pocket Pair announced a joint venture with Sony Music Entertainment in Japan and Anipex to establish Power World Entertainment, quote, for purpose of accelerating the facets global development of Power World and its future expansion, end quote. This is not a publishing deal for Power World, the video game, or an acquisition by Sony, rather just an attempt to make the most of this game's popularity. Yeah, good for them. I mean, I'll be honest, I feel like Power World's had its moment already. If I'm being honest.
It's still, I did follow up on this and have a quick read up. They're still at like an averaging 30,000 players a week.
It's a lot of players.
So not even a week. That's concurrent. Sorry.
Okay, there's still a lot of players.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're still releasing new stuff. They're technically still in early access.
Yeah,
I think this all depends on like what they create.
beyond this, right?
Yeah. It's like what this sounds like they're gonna go for like a TV show or something like that. It's like how
Which
well
makes
does that
sense.
TV show do? Yeah.
This
Yeah.
very much feels like Pal World. The developers have gone, right, we need to do a Pokemon company and be the multimedia giants that Pokemon are with pals. But we don't know what we're doing, so we'll get people that do. So they've got a Sony who, you know, they've got the money behind them and they've done brand deals like this in the past.
I tell you what, if they came out with PAL cards, I'd fucking buy them. I would buy them. I would.
I think there's 100% possibility that they go into that.
I would 100% buy it. I'm not even gonna lie, because I've been itching to get back into Pokemon, itching to get back. But I'm just like, I don't care about any of these. Bring me just give me the original 151. All right. And they did that the other day with a new pack, and I was like, looked at it and like, the prices for it is ridiculous. I'm like, I can't go. I can't afford. I can't be paying this for a packet of cards. There's no way.
Yeah, I just
You'll
want
get
my
lucky and make
Piplup
your money
with the machine
back.
I've seen the TikToks, mate.
Yeah,
Like,
no one gets lucky.
just spend £2,000 on this box. Let's open it.
Yeah.
$5, $2, $1, 30 cents, 30 cents. Oh, we lost. No, I can't do that, Chris. I can't. No way. Go on, Deesman. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, I just want a card with the Piplup with the machine gun. Salabomb. I'll
it's
frame it. That's
it's an interesting sell, though, isn't it? For like,
it's like, who do you market that to? Because it's not to kids.
no,
100%. Like, you know, I mean, if you, I guess what they'll do is they'll avoid the gun aspect of it.
I agree.
Because the gun aspect in game, the gun aspect is very like high level. Where you're talking like 20, 30 levels in at that point. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to like the marketing, like to kids and stuff, like it will just be the pals themselves. Like, look at this cute little green squirrel thing. Isn't this adorable goth owl just the best? You know, but yeah, I just want a goth owl now. I mean, technically, aren't all owls goth? Moving on.
Yeah, moving on indeed. D-Spawn, it's time for Guess That Game. What you got for me this week?
This week, the game is something you're going to have to guess because that is the rules of the game. With Guess That Game, you have 90 seconds to guess the game that I am thinking of. It will be on Xbox. That's right. It has to be on Xbox. Those are the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Let me get a timer up. Well, we're not going to do the whole showing it on screen and stuff, but I will have a timer in front of me. See, there's the timer. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
What order?
I'm going to say, before we get into the order, what are the current scores?
Oh, yeah, I guess you want to know those. Crash is currently sitting at 7 points. Matt is currently sitting at 3 points. You, D-Spawn, are currently sitting at 4 points. And I am sitting at 5 points.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Well, I have my game. I have my stopwatch. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Crash will start first.
Okay.
Because Fix always seems to start first. So, ready in 3, 2, 1.
Did it come out in the last 5 years?
No.
Did it come out on the Xbox One?
No. Not originally, no.
Okay.
360?
Yes.
Okay. First party?
No.
Third, EA.
No.
Was it published by one of the big three publishers?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Ubisoft?
No.
EA?
No.
Activision?
Yes.
I just said Activision. All right, perfect. First person?
Yes.
Based on an IP?
No. When you do you mean like a licensed thing?
Like a licensed IP,
No.
yeah. So like, okay.
Oh god. Female protagonist?
No. Can be.
Shooter?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to say anything else.
We got 15 seconds, so.
Do you go to war?
Yes. No. Let's say yes, but I'll clarify.
Is there platforming?
There is platforming.
Huh. Is it a Activision published game?
I'm not saying anything else because the time has run out.
Huh. So let's go through what we got.
Okay, so you got 360,
Yep.
Activision,
Yep.
not a licensed IP.
No.
It is a shooter. A clarify can be male or female. And there is platforming.
360.
360.
360. And it came out on the Xbox One eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, my
I'm
first.
going to be completely honest. I'm very stumped.
Well, I said go to war, so I assume like it's not COD.
It's not COD.
Well,
I'll tell you.
shut
I'll tell
up,
you.
you.
No, I'll tell you both that. It's fine. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Huh. I don't know if this comes to 360 or not. I've got a guess, but I don't know if it came to 360.
Okay.
Chris, you good for me to go?
Yes. Yes.
Have you written yours down?
Yeah, let me write mine down. I think I have. This is the only thing I can guess. Yeah, I have mine written down.
I don't know if this came to 360. Destiny?
Crash?
I guess Destiny also. This is Destiny. I don't know if you can read it.
Yeah, I can see it.
All I saw was it looks nice outside. Well, you both get a point because it was indeed
Let's
Destiny.
go.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah,
It comes to 360.
Yeah, it launched in 2014 originally on the 360.
When Despawn refused to answer the question at the end, I was like, that seems like the.
Well, no, I was like, well, it's either going to be, if it's not COD.
Yeah, I don't know any other first person that has platforming.
Yeah.
That is a shooter.
Yeah, no, exactly. Huh. Interesting. Oh, well, the scores look like this now. Crash, why can't you just let me get a point? Like, what's up with you, dude?
You can not give me a point this week if you want.
No, shut up. Scores look like this. Crash has got 8 points. Matt's still on 3. Despawn's still on 4. And me, I am on 6. Let's jump into Fixer Sack before we get out of here. Remember, you can email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com, or you can do what all these lovely people did, which is wrote in on the Discord and hit us up on Twitter at myxboxandme, #MXAM. Darkness Zorro says, as per the last podcast, me and my whole family use the Xbox Series X for everything on my TV, including gaming, YouTube, streaming, and listening to music. It makes everything nice and simple by using one device and one controller for everything, especially for my wife and kids. My question is, how useful is Quick Resume for you guys? Because I think it's the best feature of new gen consoles to mix apps and games into one great device. Thank you very much for writing in Darkness, Zora, because again, I generally would not have thought people are using the Xbox Series console as their whole entertainment hub, especially with our conversation last week about smart TVs and like who is still using these type of consoles. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I know you do as well, but I'm just that we were having the conversation about it and we just like, what? So you're telling me you don't have you got a smart TV?
Yeah, but it's not wired up, so we don't use it as a smart TV.
Wild.
You don't even have it connected to Wi-Fi, so you can like cast stuff to your TV. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's what I do. I cast everything. I don't even use the smart TV functions. Interesting.
Yeah, the Xbox One does it. If there's an associated app, you can basically cast most stuff to it.
Wild. More you know?
Wild. Interesting. Yeah, definitely the more you know. And the Quick Resume feature. No, it's amazing. Quick Resume is one of the best. I remember when I got sent the Xbox and was sent it to review, I remember being blown away by that feature at that moment, and I'm still blown away by it today. Like I say, it still has its hiccups, especially for online games where like you're logged back into an online game and it has to do the whole kicking you back to a star menu to then reconnect you to a server or something like that. But no, yeah, Quick Resume is definitely the best generation software that was added in this generation. 100%. Totally agree. I don't use it much because I'm not using my console that often, and when I do, like my console's usually just one game at a time. I'm not really switching between a bunch of stuff, but yeah,
it's very useful when you need it. It feels weird. Like I definitely noticed it when I've gone back to my PlayStation to play games, and I'm like having to reload a game and stuff like that. But it's one of the best like new additions, and I'd be interested to see it like in the future maybe come to other things, but not yet. Which is weird.
Other things like what?
Like I don't know, just like like an automatic save state in like SSD run PC games. So like if you close a PC game and you open it up again, instead of it opening up back to the main menu and starting up again, like just loading that save state.
I think that would be, I don't know who would be responsible for doing that. If that would be Steam that has to like integrate that, or if that's like where that would fall in the chain.
Did you just assume that you only play games on Steam? Ugh. Disgusting.
I don't know if that's Xbox's issue on their PC app that everybody uses, and everybody praises that PC app because it's so flawless.
It's so bad. It's the best. It's the best app ever.
I know I died last week, but did I wake up in an alternative dimension where everyone loves the Xbox app on PC? Like I know it's better, but it's not good.
It's terrible. I hate that. Please just add a category for games added this year. Let me search by date games came out. Please, I beg of you. In Game Pass, just let me be able to put 2024 and see every game that was released in 2024. Please. They won't do it. They hate me. Next question and last question this week, which comes from Big Willie P. It says, what Xbox franchise should get the Lego treatment the same way Horizon is for the new game? And do you think it would sell well if released on all platforms? That's a good question.
I've got two.
Yeah, I've got one definitely. We'll go with you first. Go on.
I think Halo Lego would be a great addition. I think you could do a lot of fun stuff in that kind of universe. Also, I just love to see what somebody did with the Gears of War franchise as Lego.
You had that. Gears Pop.
Yeah.
I think it would work. Those were honestly the two games I was thinking of as well. I think both of those would work really well.
My head went straight to Halo.
Yeah, I'd just like to see a PG version of Gears of War with chain swords and, you know, the chain lancer and stuff like that. I think it'd be funny. Instead of like cutting them to ribbons, you just hit them and they fell apart in little blocks.
Yeah, I mean, now you also have like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and stuff like that you can say. I think for me, like if Xbox were to do anything, I would love like a Xbox World type of Lego game where you like interact with a bunch of different franchises.
Like Astrobot.
Yeah, basically,
Lego City, yeah.
No, I agree. I do agree with you. I think, I think Halo is really the best answer, if I'm being totally honest.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody in the community knows, but I think they were working on a Halo Mega Bloks game at one point.
Oh, I got cancelled, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So obviously, I think Xbox to a degree at one point, who knows about now, at one point saw like the possibility and maybe going there too.
What about, hear me out, what about like a Banjo? And that's like how they reintroduced Banjo to the world. Because no one really cares about Banjo. Again, people are going to come for me. Relax. Let me finish. I don't think people care. I don't think people care as much as they pretend to care about Banjo. I feel like in a whole new state, Lego, you know, I agree with you. Ultimately, I would want like a Astrobot Lego Xbox World game. I think that is where they would thrive the most. Because I look at the IPs, it's literally only Gears, Halo,
Sea of Thieves.
But what are you going to do? A whole Sea game in Lego?
Why not?
Or you're saying I just don't.
I don't think a whole Sea game, but I think like
Pirate Island Adventure.
Pilot Island Adventure. Every level is a different like one of their quests or whatever, and the Lego style.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Conquer.
That.
But that's where my
Yeah.
head goes to it. It's more like,
But
can we get an IP that's kind of stagnant, kind of dead, and breathe new life into it, into like a Lego-y type game? And like, look at Horizon. Like, you know, that's the mascot, right? Like,
Yeah,
I thought Fable, and I was like, no, I don't think Fable would work because so much of the humor is in speaking, and Lego doesn't have that much. Doesn't usually have too many. I think the newer ones do actually. The older games didn't have much voice. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah, I think Fable could work.
Yeah, the Horizon game is fully voice acted.
Yeah, no, I know.
So-
I just sound like yeah.
I think Fable actually could work very, very well. Thinking about it.
Yeah, like I say,
Not yet. Please don't give us too much Fable, please.
No,
yeah, let's get
face
one
it
game out first, yeah?
Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch could work really well, actually.
Maybe that's the
I
only
think
way
you have
we
a
get
bunch of
first person.
characters you select because most of the Lego games have characters you select. I don't know how Lego games work anymore.
Yeah. I'm actually
Video
really
games?
just.
Never heard of them.
I'm really excited for the Horizon game.
Yeah,
And,
I'm interested.
Like
in that.
I enjoyed the first Horizon game, so to play a Lego Horizon I'm definitely interested. I wonder if it'll get me to play the second game again and try and understand what the hell was going on.
The best thing they could do is have the Lego Horizon game cover the story of the the second game.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
And then they release 3 and you don't have to play 3 because you played the Lego version and make it a fun story.
I 100% agree. All right, that is it for this week's My Xbox and Me. Let's plug and get ourselves out of here. D-Spawn, what you got to plug this week, dude? You got a whole new job. You must have something to plug.
No, not really. My Xbox and Me Discord. Come hang out in there. No, yeah, go check out PC Gamer and Games Radar. We take all our articles for news and stuff, you know, so let's get back to them ones. No, I keep an eye on their socials because you will see a lot of videos from me going up on there hopefully soon. And the My Xbox and Me Discord.
Gresh, what you got to plug?
It's been weeks now since anybody's kicked Nans downstairs. I want somebody to find. At this point, like, it don't gotta be your Nan. Just find a Nan.
Any Nan
downstairs. Take their phone, leave a review, and then throw it back at them and say, "Next time you do the review yourself."
Mm-hmm. I've got to admit, maybe we've got to change the tactic. But I do think you should. I do think you should start beating up somebody else in your household, stealing their iPhone, going on the podcast app and dropping a review. Yeah. And like I said, if you're from a different country, I would love for you to screenshot the Apple reviews so we can read them out on the show because we cannot access them. So if you're from somewhere that isn't England or America, check your podcast reviews, screenshot and put them in the Discord for us and we will read them out on the show. But yeah, make sure you go do it as well. We have no new ones over in the UK either. So wow. Sad for us. Not a lot of questions this week either. Hey, get back on your question game, people. I'm getting, frustrating me. I'm watching you guys. I'm watching you. One question about Game Pass. Big Game Pass topic. One question. Very interesting. But until next time, we will love you. Leave you. See you later. Ooh, boys.